Hi, I hope you're doing great and keeping safe. I am Manav Sethi and this is our group submission for final assignment for data visualization. As you all are aware, AIDS is a chronic, potentially life-threatening condition caused by HIV, and December being the dedicated to raising awareness for the AIDS pandemic. So, to understand HIV/AIDS in a more better way and create more awareness, we all decided to work on this topic for HIV/AIDS. Moving ahead, I'll start with the first visualization in our story map, that is the causes of death around the world from 1990 till 2017. As you can see in the visualization that there were approximately 36 million deaths till 2017 due to HIV/AIDS since 1990, and HIV/AIDS remain in the top 10 causes of death till 2017. Now if I go ahead and filter the year from till 1990, you can still see a significant number of deaths caused due to HIV/AIDS, that is 348,000. And if I go ahead and move to 2000, you can see the numbers kept on increasing, and HIV remained a significant reason for the cause of death till 2017, and it's now as well. To understand this better, we'll move to our next visualization, that is deaths due to HIV/AIDS since 1990 till 2017. To understand the trend of deaths due to HIV/AIDS from 1990 to 2017, you can see in the visualization that from 1990 there has been a significant and a continuous increase in the number of deaths due to HIV/AIDS till 2006. That is the year with the maximum number of deaths, approximately 9 million. Although the number went down after 2006, however, we don't see a significant improvement till 2017, as the number of deaths due to HIV were still 4 million. And hence we need to create more and more awareness, and people need to take more and more precautions to prevent this disease. Moving ahead, my friend Anastasia will talk more about deaths by reason due to HIV/AIDS. Thank you.
Thank you, Manav. Hi, Eli. This is Anastasia, and I will go to the total number of deaths caused by AIDS for the world regions. And as you can see, the eastern, western, and southern parts of sub-Saharan Africa are the leading regions by the volume of deaths in the world. Sub-Saharan Africa includes the whole Africa without North Africa. And North Africa is included to North Africa and Middle East region, and it accounts 50 times less deaths than any of the 3 previous regions of Africa. This probably could be explained by the people's background and especially their religion. Now let's have a closer look at some countries and number of deaths in them. The countries having more intense green color on the map indicate a bigger number of deaths in them. And if we click on a country, as we have done for the South Africa, we can see that the bottom graph shows the death statistics for the country through the years, highlighting the edge values of 1990 and 2017. We also can check every value for each year. And we can have a look at different countries like India, Russia, and we can see a big peak in 2016 for Russia.
Thank you, Anna, and hi, Eli. This is George, and here I'm going to continue with our presentation of the HIV virus in the world. And from this map, you can see the presentation of deaths caused by the HIV virus among the world, among different countries from the year of 1990 to 2017. And from the total data, we can see that the countries in the southern part of Africa has suffered a lot from the disease, from the virus of HIV, and especially in these 2 countries, The first is Botswana, and then another is Zimbabwe. But this is not true from the beginning, because when we drag the line from the year of 1990, we can see that the color difference among different countries are actually not very significant. But if we drag the time gradually from the left to right, we can see the change of color has been more and more significant for these countries in the southern part of Africa. And if we see the final data, we can even find that some countries in other parts of Africa, like in the Western Africa and in Central Africa or Eastern Africa, they have shown a huge percentage of deaths which is caused by HIV virus. And now let's turn to this chart. And here we can see that there are two lines. The first line is the new cases of HIV, and the second line is the new deaths caused by HIV. And we can see that there is actually a gap between the top of the first line, the new case line, and the second line of new deaths. And the gap of these two lines is basically about 5 to 6 years. And the possible reason to this gap is because of the circle of deaths caused by the HIV. And also we can find that after 2006, both of these two lines start to decrease. And the total number of deaths has decreased even a lot compared with the total number of new cases. And the probable reason for this is because the development of the new therapy and medicines delayed the eventual deaths caused by the HIV. So here is the summary of these two charts. And actually, these two charts is just exactly the same with the previous one. And my teammate Michael will continue with our presentation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, George. Hi, Eli. This is Michael. Hope you're doing good. And I'm going to continue with the countries with lowest average life expectancy. So we have listed 5 countries with the lowest expectancy on average. And as we can see from the trend here, from 1990 to 1918, this has been increased quite significantly. For example, for Nigeria, it is almost 46, and by 2018 it has gone up to 50. It is overlapped, but yeah, it's over 54 years old. So moving on to treatment, it is a prevention of the HIV and antiretroviral therapy. So with the introduction of this treatment, the total death has been decreased dramatically. So as we can see here, there isn't much difference until the year of 20, or I would say 2005, 2006, and we're seeing like much of a difference, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So, and for example, in 2005, there's it been saved over 200,000 people lives, and by the year 2016, over 1 million people are saved. I mean, they have been their symptoms have been suppressed, and or the progression of HIV has been stopped to some extent, and so the total death has been shrunk dramatically. And moving on to the prevention, like the education part. So I've been for the first chart, these are the countries we have been acquired the data that has this source data. So this is the so based on this first chart, so we filtered the second map. So as we can see, with a higher of a score in the knowledge. So, for example, Peru, and their new coming cases are just lower, and this same thing. So, relatively lower knowledge score, and the result a higher amount of new cases, and so that indicates that the knowledge of the young people is a dramatic factor to help us to prevent HIV.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, Eli. This is Yamini. Hope you're doing well. So the last method of prevention we are going to talk about is practicing safe sex and its importance. Safe sex is all about protecting yourself and your partners from sexually transmitted infections. As we all know by now, HIV is also an STI, meaning that one way it can spread is through sexual intercourse. Thus, here we can see the value of practicing safe sex. So the first graph you see right here is a bar graph that represents the top 20 countries where the number of deaths due to unsafe sex was highest from the year 1990 to 2017. So the top 5 countries, as you can see, for all those 28 years, almost 3 decades, are South Africa with almost 4 million deaths, followed by Nigeria, India, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe. I want you to keep in mind that this graph is not about deaths due to HIV/AIDS, but is about deaths due to unsafe sex. Unsafe sex can lead to various illnesses, and HIV/AIDS is just one of them. Now let's move around the filter and see the results for the first decade. As you can see, for the first decade, we still see Tanzania and India and Zimbabwe in the top 5, and Nigeria and South Africa are still in the top 20. Moving on, let's see it for the next decade. Again, for the next decade, we get the same result where we see all these top 5 countries that we saw for the overall result. And now for the final 8 years, we still have South Africa, Nigeria, India, Mozambique in the top 5, and Tanzania is still in the top 10. If you noticed, most of these countries stayed within the top 20 for all those years, indicating the lack of improvement in this health issue, which is definitely something sad to see, as these millions of deaths could have been prevented by simple measures of practicing safe sex. Moving on, we have this dashboard right here with 2 different elements. So first we have this map that shows the HIV/AIDS death by countries from 1990 to 2017, and below that we have this graph that we just went through summarizing the top 20 countries with the highest deaths due to unsafe sex. As I mentioned before, unsafe sex and HIV/AIDS are 2 different things, but here we can definitely see a relation forming between them. The country with the highest number of deaths for all those years due to HIV, for example South Africa, is also within the list of countries with the highest deaths due to unsafe sex. For example, we have India here, and India is within this list as well. Let's see some more examples. We have Democratic Republic of Congo, which is right here, and we have Uganda, that is right here. So if you just think about it, you can clearly see a connection and pattern forming. Finally, now in this final graph, we would just like to summarize the relationship between the 2 factors we just discussed. Clearly, for all those years, there is a constant positive correlation, meaning that both these factors move in the same direction. As unsafe sex increases, so does the rate of HIV/AIDS. Needless to say, all of this information demonstrates the importance of practicing safe sex. Through safe sex, with simple measures, the spread of HIV/AIDS can be reduced and millions of lives can be saved. As December is the AIDS Awareness Month, our goal was to make you more informative about AIDS and the history of it, along with few ways to prevent it. And I hope that we were successful in it. Even though no drugs or treatments have been proved effective to cure it, hopefully in the future a cure will be found and millions of lives could be saved. But for now, with controlled treatments such as antiretroviral therapy, People with HIV/AIDS can live a long, healthy life, and others can prevent it by simple measures. Thank you.